Anyway, so just touch on a couple of things to start off with. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Baradhare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Baradhare Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Kunja Bihare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Baradhare Gopi Jana Balava Giri Baradhare Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachare Yamunatira Vanachare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihare Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Parivrajakacharyas, Tanasasi Samad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Shri Shri Radhagolokananda Ki. Shri Krishna Balaram Ki. Shri Giri Govardhan Ki. Shri Gaunitai Ki. Sankirtan Yagya Ki. Gaur Premanande. All glories to their Sama devotees. All glories to their Sama devotees. All glories to their assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Hare Krishna devotees, thank you so much for taking interest. Last time I was here, in the temple room, we were here with His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj. That was a nice evening. But here we are, this is the beginning, just the beginning part of a seminar, which we call Lessons from the Pastimes of Lord Caitanya. And I did mention a couple of minutes ago, it's not something we're going to get through the whole thing of this evening by any means. We'll just touch on the beginning and, whenever it is next time I come, we'll continue on at that point. But at least let's make a start. Normally it goes on for about 3 weeks or so, like an hour a day or hour and something for about 3 weeks. But it's really nice because it's all to do with Lord Caitanya. And of course, Gaur Purnima, the appearance day of Lord Caitanya, is coming up in about, 10 days, on the 7th, I think, of March. I'm sure you'll have a great festival here. So we're kind of setting the scene a little, just introducing things a little bit. By focusing on Lord Caitanya here. And the way we do it normally is we just start at the beginning, like the appearance of Lord Caitanya, or even before the appearance of Lord Caitanya. There are different situations, different pastimes leading up to the actual appearance of Lord Caitanya. Then there's the appearance, then there's the early childhood pastimes, and then pastimes when he's a student at school, and it goes on. It goes on. So anyway, this evening, let's see how far we get. But we'll start with situations leading up to the appearance of Lord Caitanya. And it's more pastimes than lessons. There are lessons everywhere in Krishna consciousness. But these pastimes just leading up to the Lord's appearance, it's more the pastimes themselves that we'll focus on. So, okay, here we go. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Caitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyachade Shatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchikalpatarubhyas cha kripas sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, many of them are very well known. And whatever I'm going to go through this evening, some of you, all of you, perhaps a few of you, I'm sure will be quite familiar with, but that's okay. It's all right to repeat things in Krishna consciousness. After all, we do repeat the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, don't we? Every day, a few times. Yeah, so yeah, Prabhupada said repetition of a good thing is good. So let's begin before the appearance of Lord Caitanya. Couple of pastimes. Actually, a couple of pastimes which, according to the pastimes themselves, they were the first times that Krishna took the form of Lord Caitanya, before he actually appeared as the son of Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi, but he manifested his form as Lord Caitanya. There's a couple or even three, and I'm sure there's more actually. But we focus on three particular pastimes here prior to the advent of Lord Caitanya. First one is a pastime in Dwaraka, in the spiritual world. It's interesting. And like I said, however many of you may be familiar with it, but that's fine. Next, second one we'll go through, it's from a poem of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur called Swapna Vilas Amrita. And again, some of you may well be familiar with it. Literally, it means nectarian pastimes in a dream. And then the third one is the Pili Polka pastime. As a matter of interest, how many of you are familiar with the Pili Polka pastime? Ache. Okay. Anyway. Okay, here we go. So this pastime from Dwaraka means actually Dwaraka in the kingdom of God, not just Dwaraka in Gujarat province in India, but Dwaraka is actually in Goloka Vrindavan. So you know what happened? What happened was that Lord Krishna, in Dwaraka, he would move from the palace of one queen to the palace of another one of his queens to another one. In this way, he'd move around. So one day, he had spent time with Satyabhama. Satyabhama's very interesting personality. In Krishna Leela, in Vrindavan Leela, she is Srimati Radharani. And of course she's the main female associate of Lord Krishna, obviously. And her sister, anyway, there are other gopis who are not as important, but Rukmini, who's not Radharani in Krishna Leela in Vrindavan, Rukmini's the main queen generally in Dwaraka Leela. So, Rukmini is Chandravali in Vrindavan Leela, who's very much in a secondary position, but in Dwaraka she's in the first position. So anyway, one day after Krishna had been spending some time with Satyabhama, then he decided to go and visit Rukmini. And a message was sent. Don't please ask me if it was WhatsApp or Telegram, but it was a message, was sent. Because, seriously, there was life before WhatsApp. Some might not believe it's possible, but it's true. There was even life before television. So the message somehow got over to Rukmini that my dear, beloved husband, Krishna, is coming to visit me. How wonderful. How absolutely wonderful. So she, with her assistants, she's got a whole team of young ladies assisting her. They cleaned everything in like a minute, literally a minute or 2 minutes, to get things ready for the arrival of Lord Krishna. And sure enough, they got things together very nicely, extremely clean, and all sorts of beautiful flower arrangements and so on. Just really wonderful. And Lord Krishna arrived. And Rukmini met him at the front door. And Rukmini, these relationships are so deep, so incredibly deep compared to our relationships. I mean, we also have some nice relationships, but she was so happy to see Krishna. I mean, Krishna also stays there, so it's not like she hasn't seen him for a few days or a week or some period of time. I mean, it's just a matter probably of a few hours since she saw him earlier in the morning. But she saw Krishna come to the front door, and she met him at the front door. And she was just so overwhelmed with happiness, just joy, ecstasy, to meet her dearly beloved husband again, Lord Krishna, that she bowed down at his feet, at his lotus feet, and started crying tears of ecstasy on his lotus feet. Now, I don't know. I have not been married in this lifetime. I'm sure sometime before it happened. But, I don't know whether it happens often here in Mauritius when the husband arrives home that the wife bows down. And she's so happy, just so overwhelmed. She cries tears of ecstasy on the husband's lotus feet. I won't ask you, but I'll just leave it with you. You can think about that. But that's what happened. And it's not unusual. That's what happens all the time there between husband and wife. I mean, when Krishna's the husband. Because when Krishna's the husband, he is like no other husband. I mean, just completely, totally like no other husband. As Srila Prabhupada said about Lord Krishna when he was young, when he was a child, like very young, Srila Prabhupada said, when Krishna, as a little child, when Krishna was good, he was good. And when Krishna was bad, he was good. So as a husband, it was the same thing. When he was good, he was good. When he was, whatever, something else, he was still good also. So there she is, just on her knees, right on his feet, crying tears of ecstasy. And Krishna's just standing there. And somehow or other in the course of the pastime, Krishna became astonished. And he said to Rukmini, "What happened? Are you all right? Why are you crying? Did I offend you? Did I upset you in some way? Is that why you're crying?" And Rukmini said, No, of course not. I'm just so happy to see you. It's just so wonderful. But Krishna was taken aback. He couldn't really accept this, that she was all right. She was happy. He had this idea she was upset with him. But anyway, Rukmini led him in and sat him down on a throne in the main room there. And then again, actually what she did, she bathed Krishna's lotus feet. And again, I will not ask ladies if you do that, but anyway, I shouldn't be sort of funny, should I? We should be serious. I mean, this is serious. So she bathed Krishna's lotus feet, drank some of the water herself, put some on her head, and again became overwhelmed and just on his feet, just crying on his feet in ecstasy. But again, Krishna couldn't understand. So he said, "What's wrong? No, please tell me. Please tell me what's wrong. I can tell something's wrong because you're crying." And Rukmini again tried to say, no, it's okay, it's fine. I'm happy. I'm really, really so happy to see you. I'm just overwhelmed. But Krishna could not digest this. So Krishna said, no. I can tell you're upset with me. Is it? And he started thinking of certain little pastimes they had where he got a little mischievous and joked with her, but like in a slightly sarcastic way, and it upset her. Like in the Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, there's famous story, Lord Krishna one day, just to tease Rukmini, that's all, just to tease her. And Krishna said, I think you've ended up with the wrong husband. I mean, that's him. Yeah. I think you ended up with the wrong husband. You are a princess. And who am I? And Krishna explains there, actually, people don't even know who I am. Am I a cowherd boy? Am I a prince? Am I some sort of intellectual who speaks philosophy, means Bhagavad Gita? People don't really know who I am. Whereas it's clear who you are. You are royalty. You are royalty. So Krishna told her, listen, it's not too late. You can dump me. Just divorce me. And go find some proper member of the royal order who will look after you properly and not be an embarrassment for you. And so you should do this. Krishna's talking like he says, no, you should leave me. Go on, just leave me. It's for your own good. But Rukmini, of course, is so deeply attached to Krishna that when Krishna's just joking, he's just teasing. But she took it that he was serious and she fainted. And the Bhagavatam says she fell to the ground like a banana palm, which is blown over by, some very, very, like a cyclone, just like straight over, crash. Not sort of crumpling to the ground, but just straight, bang. She fainted, and Krishna had to pick her up and say, hey, I was just joking, don't worry. So Krishna here in this situation, he's arrived at the palace there, and she's bathed his feet, and now she's just become overwhelmed again, and she's crying on his feet. And Krishna is saying, no, what have I done? Please tell me. Tell me what I've done. And was it that incident? Or was it some other incident? Please tell me. And Rukmini is saying, no. I'm just so happy to see you. And Krishna says, no, come on. And Krishna says, I don't understand. I just don't understand. What's wrong? What's going on? And Rukmini stopped and looked at Krishna. And she said, my Lord, that's the problem. You don't understand. Even though you are Sarvagya, you are omniscient, you know everything, but there's one thing you don't understand. One thing. You don't understand how much your devotees love you. You don't understand. Because here, this was evidence. He couldn't understand why she was crying. But she was in ecstasy. So she told him, yeah, this is the problem. You don't understand. And for Krishna, it was really quite an eye-opening experience. You're right. You're right. I don't understand how much my devotees love me. That's amazing. I hadn't really thought of that before. How am I going to understand? And Rukmini said, the only way you are going to understand is if you become a devotee. If you don't become a devotee, you'll never understand the love of the devotees. But so you must become a devotee, but not just any devotee. one of the devotees from Pheonix in Mauritius. They're nice devotees, but you've got to become a devotee like Radharani. You've got to take the position of Srimati Radharani. Then you'll understand how much your devotees love you. And for Krishna, it was just like, wow, yeah, that's it. That's great. However, devotees, suddenly, something else happened. Suddenly, Narada Muni walked in. Narada Muni walked in, and he offered his obeisances to Lord Krishna and offered some prayers for a moment. And Krishna looked at him, and Krishna could see Narada Muni is really upset. He's really not happy, which is unusual for Narada Muni, because he's normally just ecstatic, blissful, glorifying the Lord here, there, and everywhere, and just in real ecstasy. But this day or this evening, Narada Muni was looking really disappointed and really upset. So he got up, and Lord Krishna asked him, what happened to you? What's the problem? You look so different from how you normally look. You look kind of depressed. What happened to you? Haven't you been preaching? And Narada Muni said, yeah, that's the problem. I've been preaching on planet Earth, and it's Kali Yuga. On planet Earth, it's Kali Yuga, and it's really tough. It's really difficult. The people just don't want to know about these things, and they're just into so much nonsense. And I tried and tried, but I couldn't get through to one person, not one. Narada Muni said, I went to this place. It's an island in the middle of the ocean somewhere. It's called, what's it called? What was it called? It begins with M, I think. What's it? Mauritius. Molasses. What was it? Oh no, Mauritius, I think. My God, that place is finished. It's hopeless. It's totally out of it. Oh my God, I tried. I really tried to preach on this molasses place. I couldn't get through to anyone. I don't know what to do. So I'm feeling distressed. And then Narada Muni said, the thing is, my Lord, the thing is, the only person who can help the people in this Kali Yuga, in these places, is you. You're going to have to go. You're going to have to leave Dwaraka. You're going to have to leave Vrindavan. You're going to have to go to these places yourself and give the people Krishna consciousness. Nobody else has the potency. Only you. But, Narada Muni explained, there's a problem. If you go like you normally go, and you do miracles every day, and showing universal form, killing demons every day, and all this really dramatic, super dramatic stuff, then the people will be bewildered, because it's Kali Yuga. And in Kali Yuga, people, all they can do is copy. So if you go like an avatar, doing miraculous things, they'll copy you. And there'll be avatars all over the place. or so-called avatars, trying to do a little magic or something. So you can't go as you normally go. You're going to have to go as a devotee. Because then, if they copy you, they'll become devotees. So that's what you have to do. It's the only hope. Otherwise, forget it. Till the next Satya Yuga, just forget about this planet Earth for the rest of the Kali Yuga. And then Lord Krishna got excited. He jumped up. Right! I am going to go as Lord Caitanya. I'm going to go as a combined form of me and Radharani, because that's what Rukmini had said. You have to go as Radharani. Yeah, that's the only way you'll understand. So Krishna got fired up. He got inspired and excited. I am going to go and preach as a devotee in the mood of Radharani. And they say, they say many things, but they say this was the first time Krishna showed his form as Lord Caitanya. Yeah. So there you go, devotees. So there he was, in the midst of everyone, in Dwaraka as Lord Caitanya. And Rukmini was happy, and Narada Muni was happy, and everyone was happy. Right, so you're familiar with that story? Not? You must be, yeah. Anyway, there you go, devotees. I like that story. I feel it's a really nice little story. The next one, it's also the same idea in principle before Krishna appeared as Lord Caitanya. Yeah, before. So, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur has written this one poem. It's not a big poem. I think it's about 8 verses, or it might even, anyway, it's something like at most 8 verses, but it's very beautiful. Swapna Vilas Amrita. Swapna meaning dream. Vilas meaning pastime, and Amrita meaning nectarian, wonderful, totally ecstatic and incredible, like that. So this pastime takes place in Vrindavan when Lord Krishna was there 5,000 years ago. When Lord Krishna was there 5,000 years ago, then at night, there was the first rasa dance, which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, that one night. But then after that, every night there was a rasa dance. Just every night, all night, there was a rasa dance. So, and the rasa dance would go the whole night. And even sometimes, like at least the first rasa dance, Lord Krishna, because the gopis were just so into it, the very first time was such an incredibly wonderful experience for everyone. So Lord Krishna extended the night to the length of a night of Lord Brahma. 4 billion and so many million years, by our experience of time. But even so, for the gopis, when you're doing something nice, something you really enjoy, and everything's great, and the atmosphere is nice, the association is nice, you're really happy, then sometimes they say, time flies. Before you know it, you look and say, oh, the time's up, how did that happen? Other times, when you're working, then oftentimes like Friday night, Friday afternoon, then time seems to stop. Like Friday afternoon is never going to end. You'll be working for the rest of your life. It'll be an eternal Friday afternoon. But then eventually it comes to an end. So if you're not happy doing something, then time may seem to slow down. It probably, anyway, whether it does or not, but it definitely seems like that sometimes. So what they would do, they would dance the whole night, and then just before dawn, it's still dark, but maybe along the line of the horizon, maybe you can see there's a little bit of light coming. The sun, is just starting to begin to come. So that sort of thing. So Radha and Krishna would take rest for a little while. Not for long, just till the sun, like maybe half an hour or maximum an hour, something like that. But they would go, there's a place in Vrindavan town, those of you who have been around Vrindavan town, you would know of Nidhivan, or sometimes called Nidhuvan. Nidhivan means literally the forest of sleeping. Yeah, forest of sleeping. So they would rest there. Currently it's in the middle of, sort of right in the middle of Vrindavan town. So they would go and take rest there, and there's a place there. If you go around Nidhivan, there's a few different little pastime places. So there is a little building which is, they say that's where Radha and Krishna would take rest together in the very early morning after dancing. So one very early morning, then Radha and Krishna were resting in that little building, and suddenly Radharani just suddenly woke up, just like that. Just suddenly woke up. And she woke up Krishna, and she said, my beloved, I just had the most amazing dream. You won't believe it. This dream I just had. I was in a place just like Vrindavan, but it was a little different. There was the river, just like the Yamuna, but it was a little different. And there are all these devotees having kirtan, just like our devotees here, but the kirtan was a little different. And all those devotees, they looked a little different. Their dress, the way they dressed, and their pronunciation as they're having kirtan, just a little different. But it was almost the same. It was amazing. And the kirtan was incredible. Just like the kirtans we have here. Just the same, but a little different. But just ecstatic like our kirtans. And there was one Brahmin there, devotee, like a jewel amongst the Brahmins. And he was singing and dancing and just wildly singing and dancing. Even it seemed more wildly than we sing and dance in our kirtans here in Vrindavan. But this Brahmin devotee, he was really in some other sort of mood. Sometimes he was calling out, "Krishna, Krishna, where are you? Where are you?" In exactly the same mood that I call out for you sometimes. Exactly the same. But it wasn't me. It was this male. But he seemed to be in the same mood as me. I can't understand it. But then sometimes he would start calling out, "Radhe, Radharani, where are you? Radhe, Radhe," and fall to the ground in ecstasy, just like you do sometimes when you call out for me. So I couldn't understand. Is he me? Or is he you? Or is he both of us? And who are all these devotees with him? And what is the place which is just like this place but a little different? So she told Krishna, "I'm bewildered. I just can't understand. Please, you've got to help me understand. What is the place? Who are these people? And who is this Brahman? Amazing, big, very big, tall, beautiful Brahman with golden colored skin just like mine. I don't understand. Please explain." So Krishna said to Srimati Radharani, Krishna took his Kaustubha gem, held it in front of Srimati Radharani's eyes and said, "Look into this and tell me what you see." So Radharani looked into the Kaustubha gem, and you know what she saw? The same scene with the place, like Vrindavan, but a little different, and the devotees, just like the Vrindavan devotees, but a little different, and the kirtan, like the Vrindavan kirtan, but a little different. And this big, tall Brahmin devotee, just sometimes in her mood, and sometimes in Krishna's mood. So, yes, Radharani was completely overwhelmed. And she said, "I understand now. This is you, the big Brahman, and it's me also. This is a combined form of you and me." And Krishna said, "You know, I have explained to you before many times, and I've shown you before many times different forms of me. My form is Lord Narayan, Nrsingadev, Kurma, Varaha, Vamana. I've showed you all these forms and many others, but this form I've never showed you, because this form is special. And yes, you've guessed it. This is you and me together." So, yes. And the place is Mayapur Dham in Bengal. It's also our place. It's one of our places. And our devotees there, they're the Bengali devotees. and they're a bit different. They chant the mantra a bit differently. Hare Krishna. A bit like that sometimes. Anyway. So Radharani was ecstatic. And then Krishna showed her, right there in Nidhivan, Krishna manifested himself as Lord Caitanya in front of Srimati Radharani. So that's a second pastime, which they say was the first time that Krishna showed himself as Lord Caitanya. Yeah. And just a related little thing. I mean, there's another one. We've still got another one coming. But a related little thing. You know, during the pastimes of Lord Ram, when Lord Ram was exiled and Sita went with him and Lakshman went, and Lord Ram told Sita that, you know, I have to go into exile. And Sita said, oh, okay, when are we going? I don't know if you got that. But Lord Ram said, well, we are not going. I'm going. You haven't been sent into exile. And Sita said, no, I'm going. Of course I'm going. Wherever you go, I'm going. And that's all there is to it. Anyway, she went. So they at one point, they were in Navadweep, Mayapur, where that whole scene that she had seen in her dream and then in the Kaustubha gem, you know, the place. And they were in Modadrum Dweep. Modadrum Dweep is a very nice place, very nice area. And at that time, it's named after a big tree, Modadrum. Drum means tree. Some sort of big tree that was there whenever they were there. And one day, devotees, listen to this. Are you still awake, by the way? Are you all right? I should tell a joke to wake you up. But this should wake you up. One day, Sita saw at Modadrum Dweep, sitting under the big banyan tree, Lord Ram was sitting meditating, and he had a big smile on his face. Really happy. Then he came out of the meditation, and Sita Devi asked him, what were you meditating on? It must have been really wonderful. You had such a smile on your face. And Lord Ram said, yes, I was having this amazing dream, not dream, but meditation, that you and I, we are going to take birth just here, just nearby, in Mayapur, just a few kilometers away. And we'll be here together. We'll be husband and wife again. We'll be together again. And Sita said, oh, that's wonderful. That's great. Really. Yes, and we'll give everybody love for ourselves. And it's just going to be wonderful. And Sita was really happy. And then Lord Ram said, and when I was really smiling, I was thinking of the best part. The best part. When I am going to give you my supreme mercy. My best mercy of all. And Sita said, really? What's that? Sounds just wonderful. And Lord Ram said, yes, like I said, we're going to be married, we'll be together, we'll give everyone love for ourselves. And then after a little while, I'll leave you and take sannyas. And Sita said, what? That's terrible. You can't do that. And Lord Ram said, no, that's the best thing. Because then you'll get the experience of love for me in separation, which is the highest experience of ecstasy. And Lord Ram said, I wanted to do it now when I got sent into exile, but you insisted on coming with me, so I couldn't do it. But now I'm going to make sure that I do it, because I'll take sannyas. Then you can't come with me. We cannot become Mr. and Mrs. Swami. It's not on. So anyway, that's interesting, isn't it? So the next thing, and I think the last thing for this evening, and it's another occasion when Krishna manifested the form of Lord Caitanya for the first time. Another first time, isn't that? See, this is Krishna consciousness. You can have so many first times, and there's no contradiction. It's all great. It's all wonderful. The more contradictory, the better. Sort of. Anyway, okay. So, if you have been, I'm sure many of you have been to Varshana, the place of Srimati Radharani. I'm sure many of you have been. At Varshana, the main part, at least the main temple, is up on top of the first hill, quite a place. But down the bottom, there's the village, and there is a canal. There's a canal, an irrigation canal for water for the farmers, coming down from somewhere further to the north. It's Yamuna water. And just down at the bottom of the hill, just across, there's a bridge across the canal, is another little sub-village. It's small, and it's called Pilipoka. I'm sure many of you, some of you, have been there. You've been there with us, right? You must have been. Pilipoka. Pili means yellow, and polka, it means kund, basically. It's just a synonym for kund, like a small body of water. And so there's a very nice little kund there. But now, the story behind it, you know what happened. You know what happened. Shh, you don't know. Wow. I'll tell you then. What happened was, Radharani at one point got a blessing from Durvasa Muni that whatever she cooks will taste like nectar, and whoever eats her cooking will never get sick. So, Mother Yashoda, who is the queen, after all, of the Vrindavan area, she's the wife of Nanda Maharaj, so she's a very important person there. So she arranged that, therefore, Radharani will come and cook for Krishna every day. And so Radharani comes, even twice a day, actually, and cooks for Krishna. So one day, Mother Yashoda was observing Radharani as mothers do, mothers of sons who reach, a certain age, sort of marriageable age. The mothers are sort of checking out the girls. So Mother Yashoda was checking out the gopis to see who could be suitable for Krishna. And she came to the conclusion, only Radharani. There's just no other girl who comes anywhere near her. So one day, when Radharani was just about to leave, to leave Nandagram to walk back to Varshana, where she was staying. So, Mother Yashoda took her aside, got some turmeric, haldi, and just covered Radharani's hands in this turmeric powder. And turmeric, it sticks. You want to get it off, you got to really wash it. So Radharani said, why have you done this? You never did this with me before. Why did you do this? And Yashoda said, this is done by the mother of the boy who is going to marry. The mother of the boy does it to the girl who's going to marry her son. You get the idea, right? So I have decided, that's it. I have decided you're going to marry Krishna. So I put the turmeric on your hands. There you go. And Radharani said, well, what about, did you discuss it with my parents? And Mother Yashoda said, no, I didn't bother. There's no need. They'll be happy. It's all fine. So just, there you go. Off you go home. So Radharani, off she went home with Lalita and Vishaka, walking from Nandagram to Varshana. It's a sort of a half-hour walk or something. And they're walking and they're talking that, that was a bit extraordinary, wasn't it? She hasn't spoken to your parents, and she did this, it's like a sign of being engaged to be married. And Radharani said, I don't know what's my mother going to say, and I don't think it's very good, actually. And they're walking, approaching Varshana. They're almost there. And Lalita said, just over there's a kund. Nice kund with clear water. Why don't you just go and wash it off? So they went over, and Radharani started washing the turmeric off. But there was so much. The water it's clear water, started becoming yellowish. But as she's washing and watching, then she's thinking of Krishna and how actually, I'd really love to marry Krishna, but it's too soon. But then her love started going in to the kund. And she just kept washing and washing. And her hands were spotless, but she just kept washing and washing. And her love just came pouring out and pouring out. So that little kund became like brilliant golden color. And then they went home. Then our hero, Krishna, our hero, yes, he moves around here and there every day. This day, he happened to just go by that kund. So Krishna came to the kund, and he saw this kund, and he knew the kund, and he wondered, what happened to this kund? Look at this kund. It's normally just clear water, very nice. Now it's like this brilliant golden color. What happened to it? So Krishna started looking into the water, and he saw that his reflection was golden. And Krishna, he couldn't believe it. What's happened to the water? What is this water now? And he touched the water and became overpowered with the loving mood of Radharani. So his whole body quivered with ecstasy, just like a lightning bolt had struck him. Then these feelings of love that he'd never felt before, because they're Radharani's feelings of love, as he's touching the water, taking some on his head, he started feeling these surges of love running through his body. And he noticed, whenever I touch this water, I feel love for myself. Suddenly, you know what happened? He fell in. He fell into the water. And then he was just swimming in the water, completely overwhelmed with Radharani's mood of love. So yes, then after a while he came out, and his form was that of Lord Caitanya, the golden form of Lord Caitanya, combined form of Krishna with the love of Radharani. And he was just running around, all around the kund. Krishna, where are you? This is Krishna. Where are you, Krishna? Please come here. Just like Radharani does. Play your flute, please play your flute. So after a while, it wore off. After a while, it wore off, and he returned to his regular form as Krishna. But as they say, this is the first time Krishna manifested himself as Lord Caitanya. So there you go, devotees. There's some things about Krishna, about Lord Caitanya, before he appeared. Next time, we'll talk about his actual appearance. So anyway, that will be in the future. Yeah, don't hold your breath, but it will happen. So anyway, thank you for listening very patiently. We actually now, we have two special things we have to do, right? Right. As I understand, as I've been told by reliable sources, two of our young lady devotees are going to do a transcendental dance for us. It is, are you going to introduce? They're going to introduce. I know it's Sulot.